Hi there, this is Sheena Rowlands and today I'm sharing with you my first guest DT layout for Rosies Studio, and I'm using their Keeping Cool range and this metal camera die. So this is the 6x6 pad and I'm going to go through it, and I want to get myself at least 7 different papers because I'm going to coordinate and use them all together. So I'm just going to go through the pad using my photo as a guide for which colours I think would work best. And the 12x12 blue piece of paper with a little gold flecks on it, that's going to be the background. So I'm just making my final choices here because there's so many really lovely papers in this collection to choose from, particularly in the 6x6 pad. And I'm just layering them up there, just seeing how I like the way that they go together and just checking that I haven't actually missed any that I would actually like to include. So I quite like the way that those are looking. So I use the die and I put some double-sided tape on the back of the paper before I put it through my die cut machine, and the die cuts into 4 pieces as you can see there. So I'm going to add tape to the back of the other papers that I want to use, and I cut them all off camera because I don't think you need to see this. So I'm starting with the main body of the camera die, and I'm actually going to use this white piece of card to actually create essentially like a new pattern paper using the die cuts, if that makes sense. Probably make more sense as I carry on. So what I'm going to do is I've put one of each colour in this column. So we've got 7 different bodies of the camera. So I'm going to do a bit of a diagonal design when I start to look at the next line. I'm just looking at the spacing. As you can tell, I'm not sticking anything down. I'm the sort of scrapbooker that cuts or looks twice before she sticks down because I just like to be sure. So can you see the diagonal design that I'm creating now with the main body colour from the paper? So we know these papers go together. They're all from the same range, and there's some quite patterned papers that I've cut from as well. So that actually ties all the colours back in. And so I know in my mind that this is going to work. So I'm just laying these out and putting them into place. And now I wanted to be sure that I was happy with this before I started to stick them down. And I realised that it worked out that at the top it went pink, yellow, pink across, and that's not quite what I wanted. So I'm having a bit of a tweak before I make a decision. And I just want to have a look how it looks on the blue. And that's the way I'm thinking with the photo there on the right-hand side. And I'm probably going to make that square, we'll see, but I think that's what I choose to do. Oh, in fact, I'm going to do that quite soon. And I think I like the way that that is now coming together. So I think it's time to carry on a little bit. So I stick those all down to the white cardstock off camera, and I'm now going to add the centres, and I'm going to have a system. So I'm going to add the centres to the one below, if that makes sense. So if you look at the yellow camera at the top middle, I'm going to add the yellow outer ring to the camera below it. And I do the same for all of them. Then I add the middle bit, and then I add the heart. And so I follow the system. So the yellow ones all look identical, even though they're obviously still in the diagonal. So, and I'm really pleased with the way that looks. I feel like I've made my own pattern paper using the die cuts. Makes it really unique. You could use any colours that you liked. I thought the 6x6 pad was the best because the patterns are smaller, and when you are cutting them with a die, obviously you're going to make even smaller pieces. So I'm quite pleased with how that turns out, and I hope you like that too. It's definitely something worth trying yourself. But I would certainly suggest having the double-sided tape already on the paper when you cut it. Makes it a lot quicker just to peel the backing off when you come to put it all together. So I'm just looking at some papers now to back the photo with, and I've gone with a yellow and blue, like a gingham check there. And now I'm looking at the embellishments so that I can add some clusters to this layout. Obviously, I don't want to cover up all the camera dies that I've cut because obviously we spent a bit of time on those. So I'm looking at doing 2 clusters, one top left and one bottom right around the bottom of the photograph. Now, there are so many embellishments in this range, it's unbelievable. You've got die cuts, and you've got chipboard, and you've got puffies, and then you've got enamel stickers, and you've got letters, and you've got words. So there is so much to choose from. So if you notice that I'm hesitating or I keep swapping things out, that is because there is so many to choose from. Also, in the die cuts, there are 2 of everything. So you don't need to feel precious that you might use something you might want to use on another layout, because you know you have another one. And I think that's a really great concept to have 2 of each of the die cuts. So I really like the word smiles, and I think that's going to be part of the title. I think that's a keeper. And I like the banner, like the bunting banner. And I think that brings in all the colours from the die cut cameras and brings them into the photograph. And I like the circular buoy or rubber ring, because my daughter's sitting in one in the photograph. I'm not sure it makes the final cut, but at this stage I'm happy with its placement. Now I decided to add just a little strip of yellow paper either side of the camera paper, just to help it lift from the blue. And I think that yellow helps bring that across as well in the diagonal, because I really want to use that sun die cut in the top left corner. Now I'm really taken with this umbrella, and I do try and make it work, and I have it in and out. It doesn't make the final cut, but it just shows there's so many pieces that you can use that actually I was really toying with it. So I leave it in place for a while I have a think of what I want to do instead. I have gone through these bowls and picked out some bits that have just caught my eye to start with. I really love this die cut frame with the 3 gaps in it, and I think it could be a good basis for that embellishment cluster. So I'm just having a play around with the tags to see what would work, because I really want to use the sun. So, and I like that pop of yellow, so that's going to stay with me for now. So just having a look. I like that banner piece I've just put down again. I think that might make it. And I would like some sort of phrase up there as well. So I just want to like echo what's at the bottom with what's at the top. So I'm just still having a play. To be honest, this is the best part for me. I really enjoy embellishing layouts. And when you've got so many things to choose from, it makes it really, it makes it easy to find something that works, but sometimes it makes it a little harder but once you've gone through everything, to find exactly what you want. I'm spoilt for choice, essentially, is what I'm saying. And because it's the first layout I've made with this collection, I've obviously still got all of it. So as I go through it, and I do use it for more layouts, there will be more videos. I've got slightly less to play with, so maybe it makes my decisions easier. We'll see. So I'm having a look through more stickers from on these sticker sheets. There's icons and words and phrases. I like to make sure that I've not missed anything. There's nothing worse than finishing a layout and thinking, oh, I wish I'd done this, or I wish I'd added this. So what I've done, I've stuck the photograph and the camera paper to the blue now. And this is it. I'm going to make a final decision. I've removed some of the other stash from around me, so that I feel that really does focus my mind. I've made some choices. I know what I like. So I'm going to start to bring those back in and stick them down. As you will notice, if you've not watched my videos before, I'm not a fast scrapper. If you want to do 20 layouts in a day, I'm not the person to watch. But hopefully I can give you some inspiration. I enjoy the process. For me, that is a big part of what I do. So don't worry about how long it takes me to do these, because I actually really enjoy doing it. So I really like the way that banner. So I've swapped out that life buoy for a beach ball. I like the circular element still. It goes with the centres of the camera and in the sun in the top left corner. So that's kind of like the thought process I've got going on here. Plus my daughter's sitting in a rubber ring, so you've got various circles running across the layout. I like those little flip-flops. That brings a bit of blue in, and I want to use the blue frame in the opposite cluster. And the smiles was definitely always going to be part of the title. Just trimming the bow off the banner so that I can actually tuck it behind the ball and have it there at the bottom of the photo. As you might notice, I've got my scissors and I've got my 3D foam pads there. I tend to trim them down to go behind things. So apart from creating a bit of like confetti at my feet, because I do stand up to scrapbook, it just makes it easier for me. They come in quite a long rectangle, so I just trim them down if I want little bits and pieces. I don't have the tiny squares. I find them very difficult to peel. So I prefer the bigger ones and cutting them down. So I'm just going to add some vellum behind the film strip there, because I don't want to hide the cameras below it, but it just mutes them a little bit. And I really like those two tags. And and the sun on there. So I'll stick that vellum down just with a bit of wet glue, and then I can start to think about getting that cluster finished as well. So if you're watching this on the day this video went live, you'll find that this range will be released from Rosies Studio on the 9th of May. So do keep an eye out for that. I would really recommend it. It'll be absolutely perfect for summer, sea, beach type photographs. In fact, keep watching the videos. Later on this week, I've also scrapped something else that's not any of those things. So do keep an eye out for that as well. But I would really recommend you check it out. There's some really lovely pieces in this range, and that die as well. I mean, if you saw how many cameras I've cut with that, works really well, just through a hand cut die machine. So I'm now just going to finish these off. If you notice, I've trimmed one of the tags to look like a banner. I think it echoes the banner underneath the photograph, and it just adds a little bit, makes that sun look a little bit like an award or a rosette, maybe that's what I was thinking of. But actually I like the way it looks, and it just brings in all the colours again with I've got the foam pad in the wrong place, so I'm just going to alter where I put that and get that into position. So yeah, that's all working well. So just need to go through, make sure I've not missed anything. As I said, now looking for maybe a word or a phrase to go on the top embellishment cluster. And so I'm looking at the chipboard pieces to see. And the one I pick, it says days like these, and it's got like a bit of an orangey background, and I think that works really well. But just to make sure, I'm looking at the puffy stickers as well, just to see what I might have missed. I'm going to add a foam pad to the back of this just to lift it off the sun. I'm not too worried about the thickness of my layouts when they go into the albums. I do like a bit of dimension, so I'm happy with this. It's all nice and finished, and here is the close-ups and the full image for you to see. So do check out this range when it goes live on the 9th of May at Rosies Studio. Thanks so much for watching, much appreciated. See you again here soon. Bye for now.